and thank you. Came out, it's doing really well. It's in second or third printing now, I think. The audiobook came out, read by Ray Porter, who's doing a fantastic job reading the audio. And also, they released a collection of Joe Ledger short stories in audio called The Missing Files. And that includes, for those who have read the Joe Ledger books, there was one thing left hanging kind of at the end of Dragon Factory. There's a short story called Dog Days that addresses that. Joe goes hunting for this killer named Conrad Vader. And it's also the story that introduces Joe's dog, Ghost. And there's a story behind the dog. I had wanted, I grew up with German Shepherds. I wanted to have a military dog in the story. And I had a contest to name the dog and to pick the breed. I got two retired canine cops to judge it. And I was hoping to get, 30 or 40 entries. This one a little variety. We had 8,612 entries. The canine cops are like, are you freaking kidding me? You got to win. But they come up with a white shepherd, and they like the name Ghost. Now, I had also entered the contest. I wanted it, my wife and I both wanted Zeus, where real powerful name. No, Ghost. But it informed the personality, and the white shepherds are known as a quirky breed. So Ghost, for the first line I wrote with Ghost, he had a personality, and he became a fun companion for Joe, and he's going to be in all the stories. I keep beating the damn dog up, though. He's now, by the end of the fourth book, he has a couple titanium teeth because he's lost them in a fight with a vampire. So he's having bad days. So it wouldn't surprise me if he starts drinking heavily at some point. And if he follows the dog I had when I was a kid, I had a real booze hound of a dog as a kid who would deliberately knock over beer so we could, lick them up. It's like, sneaky bastard. So I just turned in the fourth Joe Ledger book, which is called Assassin's Code. And that one is a slight departure from the formula in that Joe's alone for most of the story, and he's in Iran for the entire story. You guys, I don't know if you guys know about the three American college students who were arrested on the border of Iraq.
Yes.
They claimed they were in Iran, and then they weren't. Well, we know the families of some of those kids, and one's home now, two are still there. They've been convicted of espionage, which is just absurd. So since I'm really frustrated about it, Joe Ledger and Echo Team go in there and rescue not those three names, but exactly that scenario, and they rescue the kids. That's how the book opens. So it gives me a little closure. But I'm still hoping those kids come home. And on my Facebook, it's the only political message in here. My Facebook page and so on has links to where you can just show your support. American citizens being held illegally in Iran, and they're using them as political tools because we're trying to put pressure on them about their nuclear program. So they're using the kids to fend us off, and that's bullshit. But Joe goes in there and rescue some people. I'm really hoping some of our guys do that. But that story then goes really south. It gets really weird because it turns out that during the Third Crusade, a diplomat from Philip II of France and a diplomat from Saladin meet in private and agree that people tend to go to church more often during the times of religious strife. So there should always be religious strife. So they essentially create two organizations that initiate religious-based hate crimes. Very carefully calculated. So this is called the Shadow War. It's been going on for 800 years. The Islamic group use Hashashin, if you're familiar with that word. The word assassin comes from Hashashin. It was a group of assassins. They were kind of like the ninjas of Islam. They were amazing killers. And they were the enemies of the Templars for the most part. Really tough sons of bitches. So to be able to balance against the Hashashin, the church uses church investigators and later the Inquisition to find vampires. And you have to read the book to find out whether they're supernatural or not. But so you have Hashashin assassins and vampire assassins doing all these hate crimes over a period of centuries. And Joe walks into the middle of it. There's also a group of vampire hunters that decide that Joe's a bad guy. And for those of you who have read, how many have read King of Plagues? All right. Hugo Box shows up again, as does Toys.
Nice.
And and there's also going to be a whole bunch of, once the book is out, there's going to be a whole bunch of additional stuff that's going to flesh out the backstory. That when I was nearly finished the book, the publisher, who forgot all the backstory about the religious strife and all that, just asked me when the vampire book is coming out. I'm like, and I said, Cos could say vampire? And they asked me, he said he really wants the book to be about the vampires and everything else to be the backstory. So I had to take out 38,000 words of the rest of it and then rebuild. And I like the version that came out. I think it's a really cool story. It's great action scenes in it. Some of the best I think I've written. But the stuff that I took out, eventually I'm going to put online for free, so it's going to be some cool backstory, really get deep into the flashbacks to how the story started, and there's a lot more of Toys and Vox in that backstory. Vox is one of my favorite characters. He was so much fun to write. I had, if you know the comedian Ron White, that's who I had in mind for Vox when I was writing. I still haven't figured out who would be great to play Toys, though. I'm not sure about that, but and then Dust and Decay came out today, or came out Tuesday rather. The first book in the series, Rotten Ruin, actually they're calling it a bit of a sleeper. It came out pretty good. It's my first YA, but it very quickly gained ground. It's an American Library Association finalist. It's been nominated for a bunch of awards. It's won 11 so far, including Best First Kiss. Really? I never thought that would be on my list of awards. And Best Literary Boyfriend, but not for Benny, for Tom Amora. I know you don't like Tom over there, but Tom won Best Literary Boyfriend. I'm not sure how to react to that. He's a supporting character, but the book's getting really great reception. It was nominated for a Stoker Award, lost to Peter Straub. If you're going to lose a Stoker Award, lose to Peter Straub. And it's doing really, really well. The next book, Dust and Decay, picks up 7 months after that book, and then I'm writing Flesh and Bone now, which picks up 1 month after this, and it wraps with Fire and Ash, which will be the last book in the series. Now, if you go to my Facebook page, there's free prequel material to Rotten Ruin. There's 25 pages of free scenes set between Rotten Ruin and Dust and Decay, and there'll be more with each book. And some of my writing students, and also some fans from across the country, some teens, are writing fan fiction for the series, and it's going to be posted on my blog. So it's pretty amazing stuff some of the teens are writing. It's like, wow, I really wish I could write like that.